Have you ever reached that moment where everything inside you screams, enough is enough? It's that kind of moments where staying feels like losing yourself and walking away seems like the only path to freedom. Freedom. Like that was my breaking point, y'all. And today I want to take you through some of the questions I asked myself before I finally left, before I finally did not choose them, and the answers that changed everything for your girl. When is enough really enough? What finally made me choose myself over the relationship? Ooh, let me get into the questions I had to ask myself before I made one of the hardest decisions of my life. The first one I asked is, why am I here? What am I afraid of? We're not okay. I asked myself, what's holding me back? Was it fear? Was it fear of failure? Fear of the unknown, any fear. And the truth was, y'all, I grew up in a loving two-parent home. And the fear of admitting that the last 7 years were leading to this moment of where I did not want to choose him was a thing, y'all. That was scarier than any other fear that one might think was really happening. Another question was, can I keep pretending that everything is fine? Although I was not pretending that everything was fine because my actions, his actions, I they were not fine. We were operating as a business. It was romanticless. It was all about the child at that time. And I just no. Mm-mm. Again, another question, do you believe that he's going to grow? Let's put those toes together. And this was a hard question. Again, I'm a relationship coach. I spent years hoping that he would grow, years believing that the child was enough, that he would become the person that we needed, not I needed, we needed. But when I was honest with myself, I knew the answer. No, he wasn't going to grow, and I couldn't keep waiting for something that wasn't going to happen. Now, when I say grow, guys, I mean grow together, grow outside of himself. Now, I don't, I did not ask him to grow for me. I was hoping that he would. 7 years, and we were just not growing in the right direction, in the same direction. The relationship was just not, again, romanticizing. It was about the child. It was a business. Now, here's the thing, y'all. I want y'all to pay attention to this. Most people wait for the marriage to turn it into a business. Most people have the business and then get married and continue to operate as a business. So I saw that my relationship was starting to act more and operate as a business prior to the engagement, prior to the marriage that did not happen. And I act on it. I did not choose him. Which leads me to the next question. How much more of myself am I willing to sacrifice? Now, at one point, I asked myself, how much more of me am I willing to give up for this relationship? And that's when it hit me. I had already given up so much. My happiness, my peace, my confidence. Listen, like I said in the other parts, I was 190 pounds at this time. And it took my mom. I was at a point where I was wearing velour sweatsuits every day. Y'all, back in the day, the velour sweatsuits, I like it when you do that right there. Oh, that was jerseys. But anyway, it was back in that time. And I had on a purple one day. I walked in the house and my mom was like, hey, Barney, another sweatsuit. It hit me. That's when it hit me. Okay? Yes. So, I was going to lose everything that made me. And the answer was clear. I couldn't sacrifice any more of myself. Not for him when he was present. Now, the next question, y'all. What will happen if I stay another year? That's what I had to ask myself. One of the most eye opening questions I asked myself was, what happens if I stay another year? And when I realized that future, I saw myself in the same cycle, still hoping, still pretending, still doing everything separate, and still operating with a business that wasn't lucrative, still feeling like I was just there. And that thought alone, to talk about fear, that terrified me. The person I wanted to become wouldn't exist if I stayed. So, what was the breaking point? Yes, it was a combination of everything. It wasn't one big moment. It was the accumulation of all these small questions. Now, there was one huge thing, but it was one that was just the, what you say, the icing on the cake, the tip of the trash can that tipped it over, is to where at one point in the relationship I felt like I was his mother. Not his mother, meaning the mother that birthed him. I felt like I was a mother to him, an additional, and I only had one child. Did not want another child. And being removed from the romantic space, the girlfriend space, the fiance space, that it does something to you when when you're looking for those things, when you feel that that person that is there in front of you is supposed to be giving you these things, and we are supposed to be growing together so that we can provide those spaces for our child. And yet I felt, talk about a single mom, I felt like I was a single mother. Yes, to two children, and I only birthed one. So, what was the breaking point? That was one of them. And again, it's an accumulation because there was another part where, yes, let's touch on this. We did 50-50 back in the day. That's another topic we'll talk on, but we did do 50-50. And that 50-50, I was always stepping outside of that 50-50. But not only that, when he was unable to provide his 50, I provided 120. 120, because I did a lot of the extra stuff. Your girl was, I love to entertain, I love to go out, I love to be, listen, okay? So your girl did 120. Another huge breaking point for me was when he was able to provide his 50% as well as an additional, and not saying to take over the 120% because I was still there. Um, he still gave 50. He still gave 50. There was no additional, there was no extra, there was no nothing. Um, that was not okay for your girl. That was not okay. So the more I asked, the more the answers pointed me in one direction. It was time to not choose him. The next steps was hard, but necessary. Now, in the next video, I'll share what happened after I finally decided not to choose him and the aftermath of not choosing him.